All right, folks, what is going on? Welcome to the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. This is episode 453, and today we're going to be talking some Atlanta Falcons football. One thing about the Falcons, even though that this team is 2-3 right now, have been very, very competitive. Very competitive. To be quite honest, if you want to, we could be very critical, but to be quite honest, there's not much to complain about collectively with this team. Yeah, there's been some things that we didn't like. The quarterback play hasn't been the best. We saw some things happen on defense. We don't even want to talk about the refs or a particular ref, but overall, this team has been highly competitive, and we're going to talk about why they've been competitive and the amazing feat that they had to overcome to be competitive. If you really look at it, I find it quite amazing. We're going to talk about all that. If this is your first time here, welcome. I could be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Also, all my links are down in the description if you want to find any way to support the show. All that stuff is down there. So anything goes a long way. This is a one-man show, and I love doing what I do. But if you feel like it's in your heart to support in any way possible, will really be appreciated. I have a lot of other things going on that's going to be up in the forefront down the line. I plan on doing another social media avenue. I don't want to talk about too much of it right now, but I think it's going to be very beneficial to what we do over here. So be on the lookout for all of that. I also want to thank you guys for the support that I've been getting lately. I really, really appreciate it. It's quite awesome, to be honest. Guys on Georgia Southern side, soon we're going to be talking about James Madison in the upcoming episodes. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. The Falcons right now stand at 2-3, and every single game that they played this season has been very competitive. And I'm going to talk about a few of these games that they've had and why, this team is like a few plays or a player away of being a force in the NFC with an amazing amazing stat that I didn't even know or never really thought to think about until it was brought upon about our cap space. Now, I know with Deion Jones going, we're taking more of a hit with the cap space. As of right now, Terry Fontenot and them are basically using very, not a good bit of the cap money that they have to put product on the field that is really competitive. And I don't know how they do it. Some people just have an eye for talent. Some people just have an eye for coaching. And you see the results of what's going on. Yeah, we're 2-3, but when you look at even going back to the preseason games, our largest margin of losing a game, we lost to the Jets by 8. 24-16. Every other game that we lost was 1 point, 4 points, 4 points again, and 6 points. So every game's been a one possession game that we lost these games to. How is that possible for a team that a lot of us thought that we really wasn't supposed to be that good? Now, all of those losses that I talked about were, those date back to the preseason, basically. I mean, we did do pretty well in the preseason going 2-1. But when you look at the games where we lost to the Saints by 1, we lost to the Rams by 4. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, we had to come back into that game. We had to come back for the Buccaneers game. We blew a lead in the Falcons game. In the Saints game. Yes, I know. But the simple fact that these are all still one possession games. What is Arthur Smith doing here? I think this guy is doing a really good job coaching. Some people have an eye and a talent for coaching, and I think Arthur Smith is the guy that we have and the right guy that we have. Because even last year, losing all of your receivers, and no disrespect to the receivers that we had last year, but you can make a case that all those guys were kick returners. You know what I'm saying? We had kick returns for wide receivers, and we didn't have the best running game in the world. Matt Ryan was hung out to dry with a bad offensive line, and we still won 7 games. And, in some instances, or whatever the case may be, the coaching staff done something to make that happen. Yes, I know the players got to go out there and play, but with the scheme and the things that the coaches see from the booth or the sideline, have these guys put in different positions to be successful. This team had no business winning 7 games last year. And I'm gonna be quite honest. They had no business winning 7 games last year. And based on what I've seen this year, is exactly what I've been saying. I don't think this team is a bad team per se. I just think other teams that are playing against are just better. And you look at the teams that we lost to, they're basically better teams. The jury is still out on the Saints. We lost that game ourselves. We had no business losing that game. We all know what happened in that game. Also, with the Buccaneers game, we decided to wake up late. People say that the Buccaneers laid off, but I don't think you laid off, when the way that we came back. It wasn't like we came back quick, fast, in a hurry. That entire fourth quarter was damn near dominated by the Falcons when it comes to scoring. We were down 21-0, and if it wasn't for a bad call by a ref, we could have made this game a lot closer than it ended up looking, even though it was only a 6-point game. Tom Brady throws for 351 yards, and yeah, I know there's a lot of stuff was underneath, but 351 to 351, and you do all that, and you only put up 21 points, I got to give credit to somebody, In any other times in the situation we had, Tom Brady would have just straight dominated us. And in some cases, with the 21-0 lead, you could probably say that happened. But the Falcons came back and tried to make a game of this. Once again, that's the coaching of the team. Continues keeping these guys motivated, keeping these guys hyped, keeping these guys, letting them know that there's no quit. You keep going no matter if it's 21-0 or 51-0. You keep going out there and fight. And that's what I seen in this team. Also saw that in the Browns game. Saw that in the Seahawks game. I think definitely saw it in the Rams game. The only game I could see where this team kind of laid down was the Saints game. Because after the turnovers or whatever the case may be, the Saints got momentum and the Falcons they look like the team never tried to find a way to get that momentum back when they did have opportunities. So that's something I think they learned from that, and you saw the results from here on out. At 2-3, the Falcons are a bad 2-3. It's almost similar to last year. They were the best bad team last year. Now, I don't think they're the best bad team this year. I just think that with certain personnel, and I really don't want to talk about a certain player because I had to do that a little bit last episode when we talked about Georgia Southern. But when you look at Marcus Mariota, I think he's done okay. But, when you put up numbers, like what Mariota's doing, and been pretty much inept, for the season, it's kind of disheartening. Because if we had better quarterback play, we probably would have, maybe lost one game. Maybe. You can go with the way the scores are. You look at the scores of these games, you can make a case that we probably would have been undefeated. Am I talking crazy? Honestly? You think about the first few games, Marcus Mariota, you can make a case that he threw away those games. The fumble with the Saints, the Rams game. He almost did it again against the Seahawks. You know what I'm saying? His highest completion percentage is against the Rams. He thrown for 65% of his passes in the Rams game. This guy hasn't been able to crack 230 yards passing all season. I don't want to do it. I really don't want to go that route because I want to just talk about why they've been competitive. But you kind of see what the Achilles heel is here. And like seriously. I know there's other people, I don't want to mention names or whatever the case may be, but there's other Falcons, other Falcon outlets where you could talk about Falcons football on the YouTubes and throughout the podcast avenues. People are talking about Desmond Ridder. Do I think he's ready? I don't know, but he didn't look bad in the preseason. He honestly didn't. And I'm going to be honest with you, looking at Mariota, you might not get the same. You might get about the same, if not slightly better results. So even with Mariota the way he is, the Falcons still found a way to be competitive. Now I'm going to talk about the cap space real quick. Did you know with all the cap space, I saw it on Twitter, I can't remember who it was, I tried to pull it back up, but did you know with the cap space and the dead cap money, the Falcons are only using 67% of the cap? You mean to tell me they're only using 2/3 of the cap and they're able to put a product out like this on the field? That's actually incredible. That goes to looking at talent and coaching. Making sure you have the best talent available and pulling the right talent together to mesh and gel and put something together, and coaching these guys up. Because you're not going to tell me that, hey, we're going to handicap you and make you use only 2/3 of your cap, and good luck with finding, players that's going to help you win games. Now, like I said, I know we're 2-3, but this, I'm not going to say it's it's a weird 2-3. No, you lose games. But when you lose every game pretty much by one possession, you know what that means? That means you're like one or maybe 2 plays away of winning a game. Look at the games that we won, which were one possession games. We beat the Falcons versus Seahawks, 27-23. There were 1 or 2 plays in that game that made a difference. Grady got a sack. That wasn't a roughing the passer, obviously. Grady got a sack on Geno, and what's his name? Richie Grant got an interception. 1 or 2 plays away of winning the game. Browns and Falcons, same thing. I think it was Lorenzo Carter. I can't remember who got the sack on that one. Got the sack on Jacoby Brissett. Got him out of field goal range. Threw the ball. Interception by, D. Alford. I think it was D. Alford. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So 1 or 2 plays made the difference of winning those games. This is why I said, like, even when I talk about Georgia Southern, when they played against Coastal, or when they played against Georgia State just now, there's times where players need to step up and have the instincts to make a play when it happen. Grady Jarrett did that in the Buccaneers game. Unfortunately, the ref saw otherwise. But you got to have these players who want to make a difference. Things that like I said, it's talent and coaching. And sometimes you can coach it, but I guess you can coach it. But most of the time, you can't coach having the instinct and the drive and the will to change a game. What Richie Grant did, you can't coach that. I remember that was an NFL 2K or NBA 2K slogan back in the day on the Dreamcast. Long reference. I'm a gamer. If you can see, if you're watching the podcast on the YouTube's Rumble, you can't coach those things. You just have to have the will and the drive. You can't coach great. You could draw up a play. Yeah, absolutely. You could draw up a play like that play that Grady Jarrett did on Tom Brady. That you draw that play up to run the stunt to go around the offensive line to get Brady. That's a play that's drawn up by Dean Pease. But you got to have the instinct and the drive and the determination and the instinct to make that play. D. Alford making a play. Not only that, we can go back and talk about the Browns game. Look at Caleb Huntley coming in and making a difference in the run game. Yeah, you could draw up the plays, but you got to have those players that have that instinct and drive to say, hey, look, I'm not going down. Hey, I'm going to do my best to get these yards. Hey, we're going to run this ball and score a touchdown here. Yeah, the coach can draw it up all day, but if you ain't got nobody else who can do it, it means nothing. So these Falcons have been very competitive because of a collective of things. And the way they've done it, because of the fact that they're only using 67% of the cap space. I'm not saying that there's no reason to be, be a downer about this team, because you want to win damn near every game. And, you have a right to complain if you see something you don't like. But when you look at the whole picture of this, these guys are losing games by one possession. I mean, just one turn of events could really, turn the whole game upside down and turn it into our favor. I can't say who's going to beat the Buccaneers because of the Grady Jarrett sack, but the defense and Grady Jarrett did their job to put the team in a position to try to do something. Unfortunately, the ref saw otherwise. The Rams game, everything was done. It was put in position for us to take the lead and win that game possibly. Marcus Mariota did what he did. Same thing with the Saints game. If we didn't fumble that ball, it could have been a different outcome. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just what it is. And I know a lot of people say, oh, it shoulda, woulda, coulda. Yeah, I mean, obviously it is. I mean, what you want me to do? Not talk about it because of that? I mean, come on, man. This is what we do behind the mic. Chill. You know what I'm saying? It's what we do. But at the end of the day, I feel that this team is definitely not a bad team. I don't think they're bad. I still believe there's other teams better than us. Now we're going to go up against the 49ers. They're coming to Atlanta to play us. I think the 49ers look pretty good. It's going to be another test. I don't think we're going to get steamrolled by this team. I'd be highly surprised if we did. I feel it's going to be another one-possession game. I do feel that. You know, I think we'll be able to be competitive once again. And then we play the Bengals and the Panthers, which they're disarray. They're all over the place. The Chargers, we may could get the Chargers too. We played them at home as well. The next 3 out of 4 are at home. You know, so I would like to win. All 3 of those games. If we go 3-1 in the next year, that gives us what, 5-4. It's not too bad. I would like to win them. I don't know how that's going to play out, but I would like to. We'll see how that plays out. If you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hey, look, we're moving right along. Episode 453. Thank you guys for the support. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble, Apple, Stitcher. Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I mean, this was, it was kind of refreshing to actually talk about the Falcons in a positive light, because even with that, the fact they're below 500 and the abysmal thing that happened in, against, last game with Grady Jarrett, I think we're still on the right path. I think we're doing pretty good. I would like to see a quarterback change, to be honest, sometime in the near future, but we have the next 3 of 4 at home. We playing the 49ers, playing the Bengals, playing the Panthers, and playing the Chargers. I think we got a pretty good, chance to win 3 out of those next 4. Honestly, I think we do. And once we go past those, we'll go further into the season to where we'll, talk about other teams that we're playing. But right now, we're looking pretty good. I want to get out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. You guys have a blessed one. It just feels good right now. I don't know why. I just feel great, and I don't know what to say about that. But I'm going to get up out of here. Y'all be easy. Y'all be blessed. Peace.